We all doing good? Tuesday, nearly halfway through the week, and plenty to talk about. So we've got 10 people watching. Let's try and get 10 likes on the video. Everyone that's watching should be able to give it a thumbs up. Come on. Okay, 9 a.m. EST, 2 p.m. for me in the UK, and I'm gonna start just looking on the daily and the weeklies for the NQ. And then we will move over to the lower time frame. So it's going to be fairly quick, just in terms of the daily point of view. We are still red on the BX trender. So this is the BX trender, which is what I like to look for in terms of momentum. And as you can see, still red. So, you know, cautiously long, and it's going to be like that until it switches, basically. So you can see we are still in green, so we are still long. We did have a little bit of a consolidation phase here, but then we did flip green, and that is when we ended up trading some of those high-to-high extensions, which we spoke about last week on the NQ. You can see down here, and we went into a same anchor new high that traded that 62s into that pretty much negative 62. But I'm going to break down some extensions in a second. I just wanted to show you both the daily time frame on the ES and the NQ, and obviously the weekly remains bullish, and we do still have targets on the ES pretty much kind of where we are, basically 280s all the way up there until about 530s, and same sort of area for the NQ, just different price. So 22,500s up to about 22,600. So we're getting close to those completions on the NQ. And does that mean we can't go any higher? Of course it doesn't. It just means it's probably just going to end, at least have some sort of pullback or slow grind to the upside. So that is your daily and weekly. In terms of your half an hour trend, all indexes as of now are above where they need to be in terms of trend continuation to the upside. All four of them. The only thing I would like to see is the YM turn green. It's currently red. And in terms of momentum, though, in terms of trend, we did have a bit of a, as you can see, pullback, but that pullback just ended up pulling back up into our trend or our support. And you can see on the NQ I have a couple extensions marked. Again, if you go to the daily, you can see where those extensions come from, which we've spoken about a couple of times now over the past week or so. We had our high to high that traded the same anchor, and again that also traded a high to high inside the same anchor. And if you go down to the half an hour time frame, you can see we bid a traditional last week, went all the way to targets. The same anchor new high has traded on the RTH. See the RTH on Friday, we had 1-2 bids on that. Typically on an RTH, you like to at least see a couple touches on a specific time frame. And with this being the half an hour, this is an hour's worth of action, which is nice to see. And you can see this so far this week, we have remained above where I'd want to see. This is pretty much my trend indicator, right, that I'm working on. And you can see pretty much Sunday inside, got that discount on the open, rallied into those targets. So this is your entry at the 38, 2 targets, right? Beautiful. Now I'll talk about the trade that we took yesterday, because there was an extension inside this that you may have not taken, and that extension was basically a traditional, right? And this isn't even the long that we took, right? Because again, we didn't have confirmation. We just, if this was going to complete, then we basically if then. So if this trades, then we look for the trade, and that's exactly what we did. This completed the 23. So what we did at that point is we looked for that next extension to hold, and we traded the 50. And I took off into double top highs, which you'll see here. We move over to my other screen. You can see this is exactly what we did yesterday in the room live on Discord. And if you're wanting to see the actual trade itself, let me just get my Discord open. So the actual trade I took yesterday is this trade here. Okay, so you can see I was long down there at 370s, selling into 420s, which was these double top highs. And obviously that was $800 per account on that account there, and that was those double top highs. So this is the 50 at 7. I was long at 76s, 75, so I front run it a little bit, but remember this is the 38 and the 50 on a high to high, so you can bid both levels. And you can see that was the support that I was going long on, and then double top highs for my targets. Remember yesterday, this was our range for the day. Our purple dotted lines, you have to live by these lines. That is your ETH average high of day and your RTH average high of day. Just, they are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that is, we are just seeing those, you know, print money at the moment. So that was your average high of day, and obviously that stayed. Once that happened on the 10-minute time frame, we actually traded a traditional, which went into a same anchor new low. So we traded the traditional. I didn't trade any of this. I took off pretty much at these highs, and luckily enough, I just left this. So traded the traditional, that went all the way to its targets. It traded a reversal bar to the downside. Once that traded, it then reversed into the rebalance of that candle and also a same anchor new low. So double confirmation on that, and that completed this morning the negative 62 down here. So negative 62 completion. Once that completed, you do have to have this draw as somewhat valid until proven otherwise. I'm wanting this to break, so I am just going to take it off for now, but I am aware of that level. And since then, we have traded since that negative 62 completion, and I would argue this is going to be the support. This is going to be the support until proven otherwise. And the way I will play that, again, using multiple confluences, I will play that with the RTH low from yesterday. So I don't care if we break this level, because even if we break this level and we get stopped out on a long, if we do go long today, I will still win by taking the short at a specific level, most likely. So this is the support until proven otherwise. And why that is because we've broken out of the short and we traded a traditional at 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and you can see that went all the way to its negative 100. That then traded its second extension, and that has also completed the 23 with targets all the way up there at 380s. So yeah, 380s, and yesterday's high is going to be there at 425s, and we have room and magnitude on the day to 490s. So obviously you guys know I typically like to be long and strong above the RTH high, which is what we did yesterday. So if we go back to yesterday, this was a really easy day because Friday's RTH high was right below. And for those who've been here for a while, like I always say, I have no idea where these levels are going to line up each day because I can't control where prices stops, so to speak. But yesterday was A+, right? Above the open, ATR to the upside from the open, 3-bar ATR to the upside, a high to high extension, magnitude to the upside, like textbook, right? The only thing non-textbook about this is it didn't complete the 23, but again, you had range and magnitude resistance above, so I wasn't exactly surprised. Going into today, your magnitude is okay, but your RTH high is obviously you've been in a downtrend. So, you know, you're not exactly going to go long at RTH high for 60 points when you do have resistance or support that could end up coming down below. So just have to be a little bit careful with how to trade this. Again, I'm not really overly bothered about taking a trade every single day. If a trade doesn't appear, I won't take one. And even if a trade is setting up, but it's not meeting certain criteria, like this is going to be tricky for me already just because I know where the RTH high is. It doesn't mean we can't trade the same anchor new high down into, let's say, 330s, and this completes all the way up into 520s, which is obviously above magnitude for the day. If that's possible, I would just at that point most likely try to get more of an aggressive trade, which for me, it's kind of, I say aggressive, but it's more less aggressive because it would be kind of confirmation. So I would look for something more like this, where you have this extension down here, trade the 23 and even the 62, then you get some sort of pullback, and then you get that magnitude completion, right? That's kind of what I would prefer. And then at that point, you also have, if we're going to be aggressive, this trade will work. If we're not going to be aggressive, I can just risk, like, the 62 is only 10 points, right, on this example. Obviously, I could risk about 38 points and still probably be okay. But if this fails, all you'd have to then look for is obviously that more aggressive draw, which would be that pullback back down into like the 50, which would be overnight highs currently, which is a possibility. But at that point, I probably wouldn't take that trade because, again, I'd rather buy with strength above the previous day as opposed to below. So I don't care missing this trade, and again, wait for a completion, then potentially buy one of those pullbacks. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And if I miss the 50 below RTH high in that discount, I'm okay with that. Again, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. So I know just from backtesting, easier trades, especially on traditionals and high to highs, come when you're in confluence with the trend, i.e. when you're actually bidding above the previous day because you're in trend with the market, as opposed to going against trend or in basically consolidation, you know. So that's really all I have today. Again, just to reiterate, you know, the daily bias. Obviously, I know we're at all-time highs, and I'm a bull 90% of the time. meaning I like to go long most of the time. However, we just need to know where we are in terms of the BX trend, in terms of trend and momentum. The ES is starting to slow down, hence we're in this kind of like sit on hands area on the ES for the past week. NQ is still green and to the upside. However, the BX is slowing down. So once this turns green, maybe we do get some more longs. But you know, we're in such tight extensions at the moment. The extension that we've had most recently is down here, and that has completions at pretty much 23,800s, which if we look, that is obviously below our magnitude for the day. So I imagine these get completed at some point this week. And yeah, we have 680s on the cards as well. So today's magnitude, obviously 490s. And if we do get the downside action, obviously that's going to be down there at 23,140. So I will jump over to Discord, and everyone on YouTube, I will see you tomorrow. And if you want to join the room, links are in the description below.